We have 6:30, so we will start tonight's board meeting. For those that are able, if you wouldn't mind rising for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. I have all board members present tonight, so I'll call the meeting to order. Dr. Phillips.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We like to start off each board meeting by reminding ourselves and others of our mission, vision, and core values. The vision of BCSC is to be the choice to learn, work, and play. And the mission is to develop expert learners by partnering with our community to invest in people. And our core values include that we all can rise to the challenge of high expectations, that learning is most effective when we have choice, flexibility, and see relevance, that we thrive when our physical, social, and psychological needs are met, that our community and school district are stronger when we partner with one another, that we flourish because of the diversity and variability in our community, and that our democracy and democratic institutions are strengthened by civic-minded citizens.
Kick us off. I believe we have a TIF presentation.
That's right. Mayor Ferdon is going to join us this afternoon, or this evening, I should say. And if she's going to speak, just want to remind folks that this is, the better part of a decade. We've had a really unique partnership between the city, the Redevelopment Commission, our TIF districts, and BCSC to invest in workforce development for our students and for the community. It's really, truly one of the few places in the state of Indiana that all those entities partner to make sure that they invest in education. So we appreciate the mayor coming this evening.
So you took all the words out of my mouth, Dr. Phillips. No, it's a real pleasure to be here tonight representing the City of Columbus and the Columbus Redevelopment Commission. When you have a member here, Jason Major. As you just mentioned, it is an amazing partnership between the City of Columbus and Bartholomew Consolidated School District. There aren't many partnerships like this across the state. And so I get to bring this big fake check, right, which represents $1 million. And my understanding is it's used for STEM, for iGrad, and then for transition planning. And so while for you, it benefits your students and your families, for the city and the community, it benefits our economy, right? You know, big picture, we need workforce development, and the work that you do with this funding every year helps that. I couldn't help but think when you had your mission up there that this really does fulfill the mission, right? The community and the schools working together. So it's with great pleasure that I hand you this fake check. If you want to come out here. And I actually asked him and Dr. Bozeman this year, are you going to ask for more money? And they were like, nah, this is fine. So I was in a real generous mood, but anyway.
And then we talked afterwards and said, well, next year we will. That's for sure.
Oh, yep, sorry. No, we're not doing anything.
Back up group.
So thank you all for the work that you do.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have recognition. Our state Spell Bowl champions from South End Elementary and Central Middle School, who will be presenting tonight.
Looks like Central's coming up first. Come on up, Mr. Payne. Talk about a tradition. This These two teams are certainly dominant in the state in their annual performance in the Indiana Academic Spell Bowl competition. So much so that they look familiar because we've seen some of them here before.
All right. Dr. Phillips, School Board, thank you for the opportunity to come here and recognize this amazing group of young people. Just so you know, this isn't a one and done kind of thing. We are actually back-to-back grand champions, 24 and 25. So we've been here the last 2 years for that. Since 2015, Ms. Summers and her teams have been state finalists every year. They were state champs in 2018, 2019, and 2020, runner-up, 22 class state champs, 24 and 25 grand champions. So this is a dynasty, I guess, if there's a word to look it up. I don't know, you guys, can you spell that? I'm sure they can. But these kids don't just show up to spell on those nights. They work extremely hard. They practice once a week. And their biggest competition is themselves. And there's another team, the Central, that really pushed them a lot to get to this point. And they probably also, you can only take one team to the state championship, probably could have went there and competed and been very successful too, but the state only allows you to take one team. So I'll let Mrs. Simmer talk to you more about the competition.
Okay, so this is my favorite place to be, and that's right behind them, building them up, pushing them up, because I feel like that's a good leadership quality. Mr. Payne read that list to me earlier before the meeting started, and all he could say was, "What happened in 2023, Mrs. Summers? You're not on the list that year." So, no, these kids have a heart of champions. They make goals. They reach those goals. I told them before we went that someone out there would know every single word on the list, and that team would win. And so they decided to make that them. If you had a perfect score in any of the rounds, regionals, individual, or at the championship, will you put your hand in the air?
Oh my
So that's how
goodness.
phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to pass the mic down and let them introduce themselves to you, starting with King Za.
Hi, I'm Xavier Zing.
Hi, I'm Amaya Sharma.
Hi, I'm Arav Sriram.
Hi, I'm Ritvik Prithviraj.
Hi, I'm Subbu Subaya. Hi, I'm Stavya Suresh.
I am Tracy Puri.
Hi, I'm Rudy. Hi, I'm Niharika Koda.
So they stand here all well-behaved and polite and sweet, but we are loud and we laugh and we have the best time at Spell Bowl. So it's serious when it's competition time and it's quiet, but otherwise it's kind of wild. So great job to all of them for being champions.
What was the most difficult word on the test this time?
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Tentinabulation? Tentinabulation, I don't even know what that means.
I believe it's some sort of a window tint. We can look it up if you spell it. The process thereof.
Tabulation. My goodness gracious. It's a in case the audience couldn't hear, the most difficult word was tintinnabulation, which I did not know the meaning of the word, so I feel like we should all be maybe as smart as those kids that we just saw. So it is a ringing or tinkling sound is the definition of tintinnabulation.
Very festive.
There we go, very festive, very fitting for the season.
All right, do we have anybody from Southside here for the state championship for those guys? I believe it was their third consecutive year
Oh my
as
goodness.
the state champion at Southside.
We'll give them a round of applause.
Yes, even though they make us just for that, they'll have to come to school tomorrow, even if everyone else doesn't. We're going to make them come. I almost made a comment about the Let It Snow song earlier and decided to leave that one alone.
Okay, next we have school board member reports. Ms. Lloyd, I will start with you first.
Good evening. The Council for Youth Development did not meet since we last gathered. The School Foundation did at the end of November. BCSF has officially welcomed 2 new board members, Mr. David Dornfeld and Mr. Dominic Glover. So we are thrilled to have them and their expertise on the board. We also had the Harlem Wizards game, which I thought was a lot of fun. I know several people here joined. Great reffing, by the way. Very, very well done. It was great fun. It raises critical dollars for the School Foundation that go toward teacher grants, meeting student needs. So it's a wonderful way to raise those dollars and also have a little bit of fun. I also want to thank my fellow BCF school board member, John Whittington. John went above and beyond again, like he always does, and got a beautiful School Foundation bus into the Festival of Lights parade. So you may have seen the Stars bus. It had a lot of beautiful, smiling little faces and hands with mittens waving out the windows. So it was a great way to raise awareness around the School Foundation. So thanks to John.
No update on Health Trust. We haven't met in a while. Redevelopment met today before this meeting. They talked a little bit about some downtown improvement grant work that's been done. There's 8 completed out of 12 approved projects. They asked for more money because the project has been so successful that they want to continue to expand it to improve downtown. They talked a little bit about a Carr Hill Road expansion. There's a little jog in the road that the state is requiring, which is actually going to be a good thing long-term because finally that Clarion Hotel area is going to get developed. And then they talked a little bit about State Street, and there's going to be the demolition of the old county highway garage. And so those were the 3 major things. They also gave updates on the Riverfront, 2nd Street, and Arcadia Drive updates as well. So thank you.
Since we last met as a board, Mr. Edwards facilitated a meeting of the Business Advisory Committee. He continues to roll out a draft of his strategic plan for secondary ed. Got good input and feedback from business and community leaders at the last meeting. And I expect that in 2026, Mr. Edwards will be bringing how their strategic plan helps fit into the overall BCSC strategic plan.
So the County Redevelopment Commission met on November 10th. The focus was really on next year's spending, but we did talk about the projects that are in play. So just to connect the two, Mr. Major sits on the city redevelopment, and then we have one that's focused on the county, and primarily it's the TIF districts that are out by Edinburgh. That's kind of the focus of the development there. So Grillo's is a facility that was recently opened, has help provide jobs for our county. And then, of course, there's another facility that's in play and being built, hope to open in 27, I believe. Mr. Nellen.
The High Ability Broad-Based Planning Committee met on December 10th, and BCSC has been awarded a $102,866 grant for high ability for the 25-26 school year. The money is used to fund the identification process, materials for the AC program and for regular classrooms with high ability students in them. And it provides professional development for our teachers and administrators. And it will also fund a site visit in February, and somebody will come to do an external review of the high ability program at BCSC. The Indiana School Board Association had an online meeting last week regarding the upcoming legislative session, which begins in January. 20 education-related bills have already been introduced, including 2 bills to completely ban all wireless communication devices during the entire school day, except those owned by the school system. I think we'll be hearing a lot about that one. The legislature, by law, must finish this short session by March 14th, but the plan is to finish it by February 27th, since they've already met for 2 weeks in special session. And I will have more updates about specific bills starting in January.
The only thing I have to discuss is the committee for the referendum survey has met twice in the last couple of weeks. Looks like they're pretty well shaped up to have that go to print and be sent out. So be looking in your mailboxes middle of January and get those returned to us. There's going to be 2 ways to do it. There's going to be a QR code to do it online, or you can do a paper copy that you can return to a school office or mail it yourself to School Perceptions. And if you'd like to have multiple surveys in the home, if you have different opinions in the household, you can also request another survey as well. So be on the lookout for that.
Hall of Fame committee met last week. We went over the applications and selected an individual. They will be announced in the February meeting. There will be a reception ahead of that. And that's all.
Okay, so this part of the agenda, we will allow individuals to come and speak. If you ever want to speak at a board meeting, there's always a blue piece of paper when you walk in the door. You can sign up. For those who are speaking tonight, I want to remind you of our policy around public comments. I will call you to the podium. When you get here, you have 3 minutes. There is a timer over there to help you keep track of your time. You can defer to a spokesperson if there is one for a defined group, or if your point has already been made, you can pass and just say, I agree with the person who is speaking ahead of me. Please do not use specific names of individuals, students, staff members, or specific titles. It's kind of the same thing. We want to make sure that everybody feels like they can come and speak and that we're using this time wisely. I think those are the main points. And the first person we have on the list is Ben Maillard. I'm sorry, sir. I hope I said your last name properly. Maillard. Apologize. Oh, wait, just a second. I don't think your mic's working.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I live here in Columbus. I want to start and say thank you for your service on behalf of the kids and the families in this community. That's the reason why you're here and why we all are. Thank you for the transparency of this type of board meeting and allowing us to talk about whatever we want. I have both item E later on that I'd like to start with. I noticed that there were 4 or 5 bids, but one was only 10% of the others. So I'd like somebody to comment either now or later on. Was that a scoping or some other decision why one was so different, vastly different than the rest? And then I'll comment quickly on item C, school fundraisers, and item B, field trips. I love seeing that those are approved all the way out through the next semester, but there's a couple on there for December yet or last week. So if that's a monthly thing, we don't ask for perfection, but if we ask for an accountable process monthly and ongoing, then those last minute things can be exciting and approved with authority, and we're not worried about the accountable process of approving those things. So again, thanks for my time here, and I would cede that to any comment or other.
Thank you very much. Those are not always agenda items that get a lot of attention, sir, so I appreciate your thoroughness. Debbie Gray.
my name is Debbie Gray, and I'm a bus driver for BCSC. I've been a driver since 2010. Most people think I'm crazy. However, I'm not the only one, and one other bus driver is here with me in support of what I have to say. We've been told that there's a hiring freeze for transportation. As you know, transportation departments all over the country are in need of drivers. We are included in that need. It seems that every time we hire a new driver, we lose 2. Most of the time they quit or retire. We do have a lot of drivers who are already retired or who are at retirement age. So we need new drivers, even if they are at retirement age. At present, we are always having to double up routes, or people who shouldn't be driving have to drive. I'm not saying they shouldn't because they're unqualified, just that they have other jobs to do. You will often find our senior mechanic driving a bus, or people in the office who have their CDLs are also out driving. Recently, we had an incident where a young student got off at the wrong stop, and he wasn't even in his own neighborhood. Fortunately, that was resolved before it became tragic. When we're doubling up or just helping out, it's difficult to know about each student's needs. We have not been told the exact reason that there is a hiring freeze in our department, but we could guess. It is probably not the fault of the bus drivers. We should have enough drivers that we are able to take personal and sick days and not have to worry about our students on our routes. We need monitors too, and potential employees have been turned away recently. Sometimes a monitor will turn into a bus driver once he or she sees what driving a school bus entails, or they might run kicking and screaming. Regardless, we would appreciate it if you would lift the hiring freeze on our department.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Thank you for your service. Last but not least, we have Mr. Todd Grimes.
Good evening, Dr. Phillips and all other BCSC Central Office staff members, and President Wilden and all other school board members. My name's Todd Grimes. I'm a proud BCSC alumni. I have 4 grandsons currently attending elementary school in BCSC. I'm a retired educator after 34 joyous years in the classroom. A former BCSC school board member, representing District 3, and am a current BCSC substitute teacher and part-time math assistant at Greenfield Central High School. In order to have a successful, fully functioning school corporation, especially one the size of BCSC, in terms of doing its best in regards to keeping the best interests and well-being of students, its first and foremost priority. It takes a lot of different people serving in many different roles each and every day. Having subbed several times in BCSC this year, all but one of those times in special education, in a handful of different buildings, I've had the opportunity to work with a number of people that serve in a role that is of vital importance to the proper functioning of the BCSC schools where they work. That group of people are teaching assistants. Most of the TAs I've had the opportunity to work with have been very helpful to me as a sub, and quite obviously are very dedicated to their roles of caring for and about the kids they work with on a daily basis. In addition to the many TAs out there worthy of special recognition, I came here this evening to give a special shout out to a couple of TAs that have in particular stood out to me. And I know I'm in violation of the guidelines here, but I have secured their permission, and it is in a very positive light, to use their names. Michelle Cochran and Kathy Colvia are Mrs. Lucas's TAs in the life skills class at Richards. I've had the pleasure to work with Michelle and Kathy a few times so far this year. They were very helpful and welcoming from the first moment I stepped into the classroom with them. Their unwavering dedication and concern for the kids in that room are incredibly evident and admirable. Thanks again to Michelle, Kathy, and the other approximately 465 TAs throughout BCSC schools for working very hard, mostly behind the scenes, loving what they do, and helping to educate and improve the quality of life for so many kids throughout BCSC. I know the valuable work that they do is all too often underappreciated, underestimated, and undervalued. Thank you one last time to all the TAs throughout BCSC schools that help the corporation run more efficiently and effectively each day, all for the benefit of kids.
Thank you, Mr. Grimes. Okay, we are moving on to request for approval. Dr. Phillips.
Thank you, Ms. Wielden. We have one request for old approval, or for old business approval. That's item 6A, minutes of the regular school board meeting from November 17th, 2025. I request approval of item 6A as presented.
I move that we approve item 6A, minutes from the last school board meeting.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Nellen and Mr. Glick. I will, is it abstain? I was not present at that board meeting, so I will not vote.
I was also not present.
Mr. Schultz was also not present. Okay, so neither of us will vote. I have a first and a second. All those in favor of approving school board minutes from November 17th, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Under new business this evening, we have items 7A through 7E, the regular approval items of supplemental contracts, field trips and professional leaves, and school fundraisers, as well as the claims and payroll for December and November pre-runs, as well as the payrolls from November 14th and November 28th. The docket and claims for December being relatively average amount, but the pre-runs for November just over $11 million includes a large number of construction-related claims. If you reviewed the list, you'd see several what appeared to be just catch-up items before the end of the calendar year, as an enormous number of invoices being turned in during that November month. And then the just $8.11 million for payroll, that represents both two payrolls that also included the retro pay approved during the October board meeting here. Item 7A is permission, 7E, permission to award bids for Columbus East High School as presented. And I'll comment on a couple of the questions from earlier. First, when it comes to items 7B and C, those we do try to get in front of you before approval every time when possible, but oftentimes there'll be either one that gets missed or a fundraiser that is necessary to get done in a certain time frame, in a short time frame. And then probably the more common ones are field trips that are unplanned. As I believe someone mentioned here last time when our North Cross Country boys were here, we did not have time to have that on the docket in time as they were traveling to Portland for their competition, which they finished 8th in the nation, by the way. But that's a relatively common item for the board to approve in arrears when appropriate. And then I'll let Dr. Bozeman speak to item 7E.
Yes, there was one, as you can see in the board packet, one submission for the bids that from Trace Construction that was substantially less than the others. That individual misunderstood the scope, and that was just for site work and concrete. So his bid was invalid. Despite my effort to quickly try to accept that bid during bid opening of $950,000 compared to the nearly $10 million from the others, but that was an invalid bid, so good question.
With those questions addressed, I request approval of items 7A through 7E, new business.
I move to approve line items 7A through 7E as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz and Mr. Major. Any comments or questions from the team on 7A through 7E? Okay. All those in favor of approving line items 7A through 7E as presented, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Motion carries 7-0.
Good evening, and thank you. The 7 human resources recommendations consist of 1 retirement, 2 resignations, 2 appointments, and 2 leaves of absence. There are no additional personnel recommendations. I request that you please approve the human resources recommendations as presented.
Thank you, Mrs. Sablon.
I move that we approve the item 8, the human resource recommendations.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Nellen and Mr. Major. Any comments or questions from the team?
Just to ask the question that was kind of presented earlier, do we have a hiring freeze, or are all of our roles fully filled from a bus and monitor perspective?
To answer your question, no. What we have asked is that any positions come to us for review before we fill them. And I do not know. We may have 1 route open now, but there, the comment made about filling routes while people are absent due to personal or illness or FMLA, that we've consistently had that over the years. So that's something that we're working through. So, but to answer your question, the answer is no.
To just expand on that just a tiny bit, to fill routes, would it be better for us financially to have a full-time substitute driver versus paying office people to do 2 jobs?
Yeah, yes, and we do. We do try to do that. At times, we'll have as many as 5 full-time sub drivers that come in, and other times we don't have nearly 5. So, but we do utilize that, yep, to the extent possible, of course.
So we don't currently have any full-time subs?
The question was if we have any full-time subs. I believe we do, but I can't tell you without checking with Mr. McKean on that directly. So.
Will you let us know?
Sure.
Okay. I think we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving items 8A and B as presented by Dr. Stahlbaum, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Okay, board input and review. Mr. Schultz, we'll start with you.
Well, I just want to say I think it was great that we started off the festivities going into the holiday season with the choir concert. Brought me back, I think it was 24 years ago. I was in Miss Doty's choir class at Northside. So it definitely brought back memories, and just hope everybody enjoys their holiday break and stays safe out there. The roads are still a little icy, so make sure we take time.
Mr. Glick?
First off, it's Winter Sport Rivalry Week this week. Tomorrow we'll kick off swimming for both boys and girls. Wednesday will be followed up with boys wrestling. That one's going to be probably a little bit of a barn burner. I think there's 12 ranked wrestlers in total on both teams. And so that will be pretty fun to go watch. Thursday will be girls basketball. Friday will be boys basketball. And then Saturday, there's a wrestling meet at East again. It's their annual holiday tournament that's older than I am, I think. And that one's going to feature a lot of high-profile wrestlers as well. Dr. Phillips already kind of took mine, but congrats to North boys cross country. As he said, they finished 8th at the Nike Nationals. I was looking at the times, and it is crazy how close everybody was. There were a little over 200 runners, and everybody seemed like in the top 100 were within 1 second of each other, and that's crazy. North, if I remember right, I did didn't transfer my notes. They had 3 in the top 100, and 3 of their competitors were underclassmen, so they'll be returning next year. And that's to place 8th at nationals is pretty phenomenal. And then there are still chances to volunteer. Robotics will be at North coming up in January, January 3rd, if you'd like to help out there. And then you can still donate to the North Student Assembly, donate food. I believe I saw they pushed pickup to Wednesday, maybe due to weather. They're supposed to pick up over the weekend, and that got moved. So they're still taking donations there at North if you want to deliver there. And then finally, I haven't seen the flyer come out yet, but there will be a Dine to Donate, at Texas Roadhouse sometime this week to benefit the Central DC trip. So hopefully it wasn't today. Hopefully it's coming up so I can go get Texas Roadhouse and donate that way. So that'll be all.
Thank you.
I also want to thank the Northside Choir, or at least the part of the choir that we got to hear tonight. It was great. And along that same theme, last week on, I think it was Wednesday night, I went to the North Choir concert, directed by Ellie Kopp, with all of the different combinations of choirs at North, and it was a terrific concert. And then Thursday night, Cassie Webster had a band concert at East, which was the East Concert Band, East Jazz Band, the strings program at East, and also the 8th grade band. Cassie, I don't know how this all worked out, but Cassie went out of her way to fill a leave at Northside and helped direct there. And so she brought the 8th graders over to East to join in the concert, and it was great. So if you missed either or both of those, this week, the North Band concert is tomorrow night, and the East Choir concert is Thursday night.
I would like to thank Dr. Bozeman for your Envision 2030 update. So I got to see that this afternoon before we came, and I had a hard time picking my favorite project, but I decided it was the extra tunnel at Smith because they need another tunnel. So that was nice seeing that roll up on a truck, but those projects seem to be going really well on time, managing budget appropriately, so thank you for your work there. We should start every board meeting in song, Dr. Phillips, so there's your opportunity for 2026. That was fantastic. And I wanted to congratulate Mr. Glick and Ms. Lloyd for thriving in your first year on this board. I'm sure there have been moments where it might not have felt that way, but I think you've both done a really nice job getting up to speed, finding ways to chip in, and contributing a lot to the school system. So congratulations.
I'll play a little bit off of what Mr. Grimes started during the public comments. As we come to the close of the calendar year, I've been thinking a lot about the 760-some teachers, the 465 TAs. Thank you for that number, Mr. Grimes. All the other staff people that we have, including the bus drivers and the bus monitors, the coaches, the community volunteers, the administrators, all of the folks that are working together to help our students succeed. Your work is appreciated. I hope that you feel recognized, and we all look forward to a good 2026. Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to echo the comments about the choir, but if we do this again in the future, I want it to be more beef and boards like, maybe some songs, some dance, but definitely some food. I know they got cookies afterward and we didn't, so I think that's unfair for us. On Saturday last week, I was lucky enough to be able to help out with the VEX Robotics at Parkside, and I just wanted to say thank you to all the teachers, teacher aides, janitors, because somebody's got to clean that mess up, for all the work they did. Thank Principal Smith as well for opening up his school. And then I also got from Mrs. Haynes a list of all the volunteers, so I want to do this real quick. So a special thank you to Kelly Goins, Goravi Kanakar, Nancy Eagle, Liz Stroh, Brian Bush, Jason Davis, Rob Weissmiller, Kim Stamper, Yu-Ying Hero, Chris Johnson, Ben Collins, Nora Mitchell, Owen Whitlock, Bailey Fitzgibbon, Matt Wallace, Jason Davis, I think is on there twice, Julia Whitlock, Eric Whitlock, Isaac Qureshi, Bentley Weissmiller, Graham Donison, Kaishan Roberts, Rob Musalami, Joe Feeney, Raj Kagwin, and Eva Kagwin, along with Jessica Davis, her whole C4 team, Columbus Robotics, Nathan Keith from REC, and all the other coaches. So there were 84, so this is what the match list looks like. It becomes really messy when you're trying to in essence, herd cats. So you got a bunch of kids out there that want to go have fun, and they don't always understand order and be in a certain place at a certain time. So there was a lot of us sharing numbers that linked to a team, and they all had to know their numbers. So it was a little bit chaotic, but I think we were able to get everything done right before the weather got bad, and so it was a great event. Future robotics events are out there. It's a great volunteer event for anybody that wants to volunteer. It's low impact, so just about anybody can do any of it, and you might even see someone like Todd Grimes show up to an event as well. Last thing I want to do is just say Merry Christmas to everyone, or in our house we sing Happy Birthday, Jesus. So just want to tell everybody to enjoy your time with family, be safe when you're traveling, and have a Merry Christmas.
Ditto. No, going at the end is everybody's shared all of the wonderful things. Just two things to add. I had the privilege of judging senior projects last week, and it was truly amazing to see what our students are capable of. I saw projects that benefited Love Chapel and the school pantries and the church communities. And I also got to spend time with Mrs. Dismore at North, who is remarkable. These teachers spend so much time and give so much love to our seniors. I know that's probably full of procrastination in that process for those kids, but it was just a really terrific experience. So if you haven't judged senior projects, I highly encourage you to seek out that opportunity. The other thing that I don't think anybody mentioned was Super Saturday. They still call it that. Am I aging myself? Super Saturday. Elementary basketball competition. I just really want to call out our students' sportsmanship. It was really great to see our students lift each other up. I think I found myself during the cheer competition watching all of the seeded teams dancing along and cheering and moving with their competition as they presented. And I just think that says a lot about our kids and our coaches and our teachers and our parents. So it was a great experience.
Thank you.
And I'll just add that, Mr. Major, if you would have sang, you could have a cookie. You wouldn't have the right.
I don't think
Were
we
you
wanna hear
humming
that.
along? Anyone
you
really?
don't.
Anyone that wants to grab a
They-
cookie
they
on the way
don't.
out, please do.
They don't have a key that would work for me, so.
And then also, just keeping in the spirit of things, Mr. Grimes, thank you for your comments, but in addition, I was really hoping for a joke here leading into the holidays. Just a riddle, a dad joke, something like that. We'll stick around afterwards and listen for it. Echo everyone else's comments about the holidays. Please stay safe. And I drove around town just before the meeting this evening, and just encourage you. At first, I was going to encourage everyone to go shovel their sidewalks, and instead, I'm going to encourage you to hire a kid on your street to go out and shovel your sidewalk for you, so that he or she gets some exercise, and also allows our kids somewhere to stand while they wait for the buses for you all, and not in the street. It'll really help us be able to go to school on time if you clear those sidewalks. Happy holidays, everyone.
Okay. I believe our next meeting is on January 5th. It will be our reorganization meeting. It will take place in this room at 6:30 p.m. As Mr. Schultz mentioned, Education Hall of Fame Award reception. Yep. It will be on February 2nd, Groundhog Day, at 6 p.m. in this building, immediately preceding the February 2nd board meeting, which will start at 6:30. So happy holidays. Happy New Year, everyone. Meeting adjourned.